What's up, guys? Welcome back to another week of the 8 Count, a series powered by Atlanta Boxing Social Club. I'm your girl, Jasmine K, delivering weekly boxing updates. Let's get straight into it. This week, we had a lot going on with the Ryan Garcia-Haney fight build-up, as well as some fight announcements that were made that some of us are not too thrilled about, others are, and much more. Without further ado, let's get into this 8 Count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Count number 1. Let's get straight into it, and that is the current state of the Haney versus Garcia fight, or Garcia versus Haney fight. Whichever one it is. Let's go through the current state of Haney versus Garcia. There has been a lot going on and plenty to talk about, so let me just grab my scroll here. All right. So here's all what happened this week. First, we had the press conference kickoff that took place in New York and then followed up in LA. And since the press kicker in LA, the following has happened.
99% what I'm doing is trolling.
We got Ryan's non-negotiable list.
26 days a week, 1 form of recovery every day, no smoking at all, and no edibles. 3 glasses on Wednesday, 4 glasses on Sunday, every diet. Sleep, Bible study, love everyone, daily meditation. Everyone must abide by this list. Accountability partner, not Devin Haney, though.
Here to announce my return back to Instagram.
Over these past couple days, you guys have seen some pretty intense nights. I understand what they are and I understand what they look like. But I'm coming back to announce I'm not going to speak on any other topic other than boxing, sports, and my fight. That's the only thing I'm going to be talking about. And I'm training for this fight. I want everybody to know this fight's still on. 420, 5 weeks of super focus. I have PBD, Papa Me in this camp, and many other warriors. So I thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys on 420.
I still believe that this fight does not make it to April 20th. Maybe Haney makes it to April 20th, but Ryan Garcia, regardless of the contract that he's made, regardless of the rumors that assures that Ryan Garcia is indeed inside of the gym working out and working hard, and he wants to create this illusion that he's not working to distract Haney to potentially not train as hard, thinking that he's not going to get the fight with Ryan Garcia and maybe he's going to get the fight with Arnold Barboza instead. I'm here to say I have very little faith that we will see Haney versus Ryan Garcia, and I think it's a shame. I think this is a great opportunity for Ryan Garcia to go up against the pedigree of a boxer that he is going up against in Haney. But he's not taking that as serious, and like I said, it's a shame. I felt as though this would have been the opportunity of a lifetime for Haney to really put himself in the light of being the new face of boxing and raising his stock and generating more fans. And I definitely thought that this fight was going to give him the opportunity to do so. Well, I don't think that it's going to make it that far. Bill has gone live, and in his going live rants, he had AB join him. Adrian Broner joined the live, of which AB raised his hand and said, you know, Ryan is going through a lot right now. I would be the perfect replacement in the Haney versus Garcia fight. I don't think Adrian Broner makes it to April 20th either, and that's neither here or there, so I'm not even going to put too much attention on that. Arnold Barboza chipped in and he said the only AB that would be replacing Garcia in this matchup is going to be Arnold Barboza. So much has happened. There's still so much time before we get to April 20th. So stay tuned for the saga of Haney versus Garcia as it continues. Moving on to count number 2. On a more serious note, Raymond Ford had a stunning performance this past Saturday, and one that blew me away. I've been one to admit that I need to pay closer attention to the smaller weight divisions, as they are the ones that are really bringing the excitement to boxing. They're making the matches happen. They're taking difficult matches, and we're seeing championship level boxing in the featherweight division. Raymond Ford, as I said, put on a stellar performance, one that I am in awe of, and he has certainly gained a new fan in me. Call it late, add me to the bandwagon if you will, but yes, I am excited about where Raymond Ford goes from here. After Ford's performance, he shared with us the difficulties he had with making 126, and since now being the new champion in the featherweight division, he has desires to move up to the super featherweight division and challenge those that are at 130. Eddie has other plans for Ford, and that being in the featherweight division and unifying in the featherweight division, which rightfully so. He finally captures a belt, and now he's talking about moving up. It's not a bad look for him to move up, but you finally got a belt. That's where your leverage is. So why not stay there? Challenge yourself to make weight, get a nutritionist, and if you have one, make some tweaks to your nutrition. Have a couple of fights, unify the featherweight division, and then move up. I think he'll have more leverage at that point to make some of the biggest fights happen at 130, but that's neither here or there. As I said, Eddie has other plans for Ford, and that being him facing Nick Ball next. But of course, Nick Ball has a tall task ahead of him that he has to get past this Friday night, as he is facing Ray Vargas, as Ray Vargas is defending his WBC World Featherweight title. We'll see what happens on Friday to see how that happens, and we'll see if Raymond Ford is still sticking to his guns of wanting to move up to 130. If he is to move up to 130, Raymond Ford went on to his post-fight interview to say that he would like Lamont Roach, despite the friendship that they do have, he would like to see Lamont Roach next, and if not Lamont Roach, then Joe Cordina. I think Joe Cordina is a little bit more realistic for him, as both of these guys are represented by Matchroom Promotions, and that would be the easier fight to make. However, Joe Cordina has a fight coming up on the May card of Tyson versus Usyk, of which he will be defending his belt, and Joe Cordina has made it clear that he wants a unification fight next, with Raymond Ford potentially moving up and trying to challenge him. He cannot bring that featherweight belt with him. Therefore, he would be trying to challenge him without a belt, and Joe Cordina says that he only wants a unification fight. Otherwise, he has his eyes on moving up to the 135-pound division and facing bigger champions there. So we'll see what happens, how this unfolds. One thing is for sure, Raymond Ford put on a dominating performance last Saturday, and I hope to see him back inside of the ring very soon, putting on another stellar performance. Count number 3, in a fight announcement that came by surprise that doesn't have a lot of us thrilled about, that is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Maybe Mike Tyson is thinking that he's going to be the one that finally settles this and sits Jake Paul down and grabs him off that high horse and lets him know that there are levels to this. I'm not too thrilled about this fight. I'm not excited about this fight. Will I watch it? Yes. No, seriously. I mean, all things considered, Mike Tyson has been out of the game for, I don't know how many years now. He had his exhibition, of which he showed us that he still has it. He's been in the gym training since then, and we still see that electrifying, tough nose Tyson pressing forward style with what seems to be the power is still there. So all things considered, is this an actual fight? We don't know. Is it an exhibition, or is it a real deal counting against both of their records? Either way it goes, I think it will be an entertaining fight, and maybe that's the purpose of it in general. If you had to put yourself in Jake's shoes, here's an opportunity for you to go up against the legend to make a ton of money. There is an audience that is there, despite what the boxing world thinks and feels. There is an audience that would tune into this fight. So, you know, if there's an audience there, the money's there, what are we going to do about it? Nothing. So we'll see how this progresses, and yeah, I guess I look forward to reporting the lead up and the build up of this fight. Maybe. Moving on to count number 4. Count number 4, as we have this build up of a Twitter beef between Frank and Tank Davis, it gets me a little bit more excited about this fight, an actual match that is taking place inside of the ring, where you have a top contender taking on the face of boxing, who is still arguably one of the greatest that is fighting currently in today's state of boxing. So what are my predictions for this fight? I definitely feel that Tank is going to be the one that's going to come out on top. However, if I'm Frank Martin, I am wanting this fight to take place in the center of the ring. I am in control of distance. In addition to keeping this fight in the center of the ring, I think it would be in Frank Martin's best interest if he would allow for Tank to be the aggressor and to press forward in this fight. I think it gives him the better opportunity to counter and be the better counter punch. I think that those are going to be the only ways that he's able to control this fight and potentially win this fight. And that is, again, him controlling the center of the ring, him fighting from range, and at times allowing for Tank to be the aggressor, to press forward, and for him to be the counter puncher. Because one thing's for sure, he does not want to allow for Tank Davis to be able to sit on his punches as well as to be the one that is a counter puncher in this matchup, because otherwise lights are going to be out sooner than Frank may think. We'll see how things build up between these two and if either will reveal what their strategy is coming into the fight. Count number 5. Alycia Baumgardner has been spotted in camp with Team Haney. A lot of questions has arisen in seeing her in camp with Team Haney as well as training with Bill Haney. Is that her new trainer? Is she moving on to new management? She's obviously still with Matchroom, but what is going on with Alycia and Alicia's world? That is unofficial news. She hasn't put anything out that I'm aware of that states that she is no longer with Tony Harrison, but with us seeing her in a gym with Bill Haney, the question is Bill her new trainer? Who knows? Bill is now the king of trolling, in my opinion, and being able to twist and bend the media to his will and creating whatever narrative it is that he wants to push his agenda forward. So I guess we'll see as Alycia gets closer to being in camp and preparing for another fight, who's in the ring with her. Until then, Alycia Baumgardner seems to have jumped off this hype of fighting Clarissa Shields and now is eyeing Katie Taylor, a fight that I would not be upset with. With her eyeing Katie Taylor, that must mean that she is no longer interested in going to 147, but maybe has her eyes settled on 140, which is where Katie Taylor sits at the top, queen of the super lightweight division, and Alycia moving up from the super featherweight division. I think that this would be a great fight, a great opportunity for her to go up against a legend in Katie Taylor and to potentially push her name even further in the ballot for being the women's face of boxing. We'll see. I think Katie Taylor's biggest fight would be against Amanda Serrano, as both legends are exiting out of boxing, but both of them are at a weight class that has a huge gap in between, so I don't know if we see that between them two. It seems as though the trilogy of Katie Taylor and Cameron is off as well, so both of these women are signed by Matchroom. I would not be surprised if this is the next fight for Katie Taylor, and if Alycia Baumgardner is awarded a great fight of a lifetime. We'll see as that unfolds and all of the other drama that is taking place underneath Alicia's world, with if she's fighting Clarissa Shields and a beef with her, as well as some new beef with Adrian Broner and who she's training with next. Count number 6. Which fight would I like to see take place at 140 is what I was asked this week, and I thought, you know what? I would love to see Regis Progress versus Matthias. Now, I think that this is an excellent fight for Regis to come back and to redeem himself. This is a great stylistic fight for him. Don't get me wrong, Matthias is not a cake walk-through fight. That will be a difficult challenge for him, but one that I think that he can stand up to. So, both of these guys are under Matchroom. It is very possible. It's a big fight at that. Let's see if it happens. Count number 7. This Friday, we have the showdown between AJ and Ngannou. A fight that I am still sitting at the edge of my seat, nervous for, and that being on the side of AJ. We have seen him before go through upsets, and with him being so close to having the heavyweight undisputed opportunity matchup with the winner of either Fury or Usyk, it just makes me really nervous. Really nervous. I think that if he comes in the same demeanor, which he's shown himself to be, that calm, collective, cool guy, entering into a huge fight with his eyes present on the fight that's in front of him and not looking too far ahead. And if he can bring that same performance that he had against Parker, I think that this will be an early night for Ngannou, and it will show Ngannou that there's levels to this. You may have got past Tyson Fury and went the distance. You may have knocked Tyson Fury on his ass, but there's levels to this, and that's not going to happen with me. One thing that I'm looking forward in this fight, if you will, is to see the comparison between how both of these guys in the current state of their career, where they line up with each other, and that is Tyson Fury as opposed to Anthony Joshua. I think given Anthony Joshua's performance, we'll be able to see a translation in the power difference between Fury and AJ, as well as the skill. Now, I say that very lightly because we know that Tyson Fury coming into the fight with Ngannou, in a way, took it a little lightly, didn't fully train to go the distance with Ngannou and thought that he was just going to outperform him, outbox him, and it was going to be an easy payday. So that's why I say it lightly as to if we can even compare the performances against Ngannou for both of these guys to what we will potentially see in the ring when we finally get the matchup of Fury versus AJ. I'm looking forward to this one. There's some great undercards on this fight. We have a title fight with Ray Vargas. We have Zhang versus Parker, what could be a main event as a co-main event, and so many more on this lineup. So I'm looking forward to this one this Friday, taking place in Saudi Arabia. Round number 8. Let's talk about an exciting fight that could be a matchup. Now, while we have AB trying to raise his hand to take place in the replacement fight for Garcia against Haney, I would like to see AB against somebody else, and that is Danny Garcia. Well, first let me say, if AB is serious about making his return to boxing, I wouldn't be mad at a matchup between him and Danny Garcia. Obviously, Danny Garcia would have to announce that he's coming back for sure, and that he will be interested in coming back and making a return. That may help AB actually be serious, make a comeback, make the weight, and actually make the fight happen. I think that that would be a huge entertaining fight, definitely a huge entertainment of a build up to a fight. So, in all of the talks of AB trying to enter into the chat of going up against Haney and going up against Bill Haney, I actually would like to see him in a more realistic fight, one that could be just as entertaining, if not more, and that being Danny Garcia. But that is my wildest matchup that I think I've ever come up with, but I wouldn't be mad at that one. That wraps up this week of the 8 count. Making my return back from being down and under the weather, I wanted to come back with a little lighthearted of an 8 count. There's been a lot of trash talking that's been going on in the media. Not as many fight announcements made, although we do have Mway making his return that I did not get a chance to talk about, but I will talk about more in next week's 8 count. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share with somebody else. Until next week.
I'll be the best side.